One thing we're still talking about here, even as other names come off the board, one guy that they were by NFL rules prohibited from trading for, and they wouldn't have done it anyway because he ended up on bad terms here. But Deontay Johnson goes to Baltimore in a deal that's getting, I think, panned universally, the Panthers side of it, like a comically lopsided deal there, it seems. Do you think that the Steelers, based on what you've seen, need to still be in that wide receiver trade market?
That deal is so bad that if the Ravens would win the Super Bowl, it would basically be a flip-flop of 2 draft picks because it's a
How does that deal get made? Forget about my question. How on earth does that deal get made then? Because you just said it perfectly there. That just seems like the GM in Carolina shouldn't even be allowed to make a deal that bad.
Yeah, and you can't vote on the trade like you can when you're in a fantasy football league. Wouldn't that be great if all the other teams could vote on whether or not a trade is allowed to go through? But teams, and that's why they have a deadline, because once you get past the deadline, you can have buddies doing favors for buddies and just doing these horrible deals to help a team load up. But it's not a great deal for the Panthers, but they move on, and we don't know what was going on behind the scenes, if he was being a problem there, and they just realized, we got to move forward, let's get whatever we can. And my guess is they tried to shop him elsewhere. The Ravens are like the Steelers. They hang around and wait for a bargain. They don't get desperate. They don't like to give up future assets to get a player. So my guess is that the Panthers exhausted every possible option before they recognized, we're just going to take what we can get here from the Ravens. And I suspect the Steelers are going to be looking for that same kind of deal. Let's just sit back and wait and see. And maybe there'll be a team out there that is willing to basically hand us a guy, whether it's Adam Thielen, if and when he's healthy. And, they only got 5 days, 6 days before the deadline closes, but Mike Williams' name is still being mentioned. There's multiple teams out there that should be looking for receivers, and the Steelers, since they have a bye this week, it gives them a chance to really take a strategic look at everything, not distracted by a game coming up. Coaching staff can get involved. Maybe they can find somebody.
Cooper Kupp seems definitely off the market because that team might actually just go out and screw around and win the NFC West at this rate.
Oh, you're right. And it's funny how they tried to put the toothpaste back in the tube. They were shopping him 2 in a row between a Sunday and a Thursday. They're 3-4. They're right there. The NFC West is there for the taking. They have their best receivers back. They're going to get healthy. I don't know how healthy they can stay, but all of a sudden it's like, oh, no, this is all irresponsible reporting. We were getting phone calls. We weren't trying to shop him, and they were. If they had lost those 2 games last week, that's when you fold the tents. That's one of the benefits of having the trade deadline where it is now, the Tuesday after Week 9. Teams have enough time to come to the conclusion as to whether or not there's a fork stuck in their chances for this year, and then they go forward and explore flipping guys for assets that'll help them get better down the road.
Mike, I'm sorry if your dog that was hanging out in there did not like that last question of mine. I thought I heard a bark in response.
She's out in the hallway, but yeah, I think she wants to go out front and run around. I think that's her bark when she wants my wife to take her out front.
I feel like this is a kind of thing that only happens to the Steelers. Have you ever seen a situation like what arose with that George Pickens play? Not the one that got called back because of a face mask, but the same foot down twice and the other foot never touching and the touchdown being no good as a result. And has the NFL ever even had cause to think about changing that rule at all to be just, hey, you somehow get 2 feet or 1 foot down twice, it's the same thing?
It really is one of the most fundamental differences between college and pro football. One of the first rule differences I became aware of when I was watching both levels of football back when I was a little kid. 1 foot is good for college, 2 feet in the NFL, but it's not 2 feet. It's both feet. We went and checked the rule book right away. It's not 2, it's both. So you can basically, and this is how ridiculous the rule is if you play it out to the extreme, you could catch a pass and you could pogo stick on one leg all the way down the field, and if you never put the other foot down, it's not a catch. And that makes no sense, but here's the reality. Everybody knows the rule. And everybody knows that you've got to control your body and contort in a way to get both feet down. We see receivers do that all the time. We've seen Pickens do it before. You just got to get that left leg down. That's all he's got to do. He had plenty of time to get the left leg down. He just didn't. And it's got to be second nature to get both of those feet down and complete the catch. So it's on him because we all know the rule. There is no 1 foot twice. It's both feet. And until both feet are down, there's no catch.